Welcome to the latest installment of Down the Right Field Line with Marlins Nation. The Marlins look to wrap up the first half on a strong note. How did they perform against the Brewers in a long series? Could they wrap up the second half against the Cardinals strong? And how do the Marlins solve the issues in the ninth inning? All that and more coming up next. Welcome to Down the Right Field Line with Marlins Nation. The Marlins go out on the road to finish up the first half. They just came from home where they had a 5-4 homestand. So now the Marlins go on the road, 4-game series against the Brewers, then a 3-game series against the Cardinals, then we have the All-Star break. So game 1 versus the Brewers, it was Big Z versus Greinke. A great matchup. Big Z's been struggling lately, but he's looking to bounce back, and it's a ballpark where obviously he has great memories at. This is the ballpark where he threw a no-hitter against the Astros. Now the story of this road trip, and you'll hear me mention this quite a few times, Marlins started off quick in most of the games, and in game 1 it was the same. They started off quick, scored a run, but they couldn't hold it together. The Brewers came back in their half of the first, bases loaded. They were able to score 2 runs, take the lead 2-1. In the third, Lomo had an RBI double, and then Ruggiano, get hot. Ruggiano, 2-run shot to give the Marlins the lead. This guy's on an incredible pace right now, batting over 400, and this road trip was definitely a Ruggiano memory. He had a great game in this game, and he gave us the lead in this inning, which was great to see out of him. The Brewers had the game with a 2-run single by Ishikawa. The Marlins had a chance to bounce back. In the 8th, bases loaded, have a great opportunity to take the lead going into the last 2 innings, but they weren't able to come through. They grounded out with 2 outs, and that was a key moment in that game because with bases loaded in the 8th inning, you want to at least scratch out 1 run to at least give you the lead. Then in the 9th inning, you can go for some insurance runs. But with the bases loaded, the Marlins weren't able to do anything. And sure enough, Aoki, bottom part of the 8th, safety squeeze, Brewers take the lead, Axford perfect 9th, and Brewers win this ball game. It was a game that you kind of felt like it got away, but at the same time, the Brewers were playing very well. Greinke was pitching really well. But Big Z had a great game, and I think that's the thing that you're not really going to hear about this game. Big Z, 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 4 strikeouts. It's a quality start, and that's what you want out of your starters. Big Z was able to do that, but the Marlins weren't able to pull this one out. So going into game 2 of the series, we have Sanchi and we got Estrada. And 2 people that weren't at this game were Hanley and Stanton. And right away you're thinking this is probably going to be a low-scoring game. You got 2 of the biggest bats in the Marlins lineup out because of knee issues. The Marlins scored 2 runs early in the game, just like I said, putting pressure on the opponents, scoring early, but the Brewers just went on a rampage after that, scoring 6 runs in the 6th, getting a 9-2 lead after a home run by Hart and Braun. Every telecast you watched, when Braun hit that home run, everybody said the Brewers have now blown this game wide open. And for good reason. I mean, a 9-2 lead, you're thinking the game's over. But the Marlins kept battling. And that's the biggest difference with Ozzie Guillen. He's kept the pressure on these guys to say, hey, we can win under any circumstance. Any circumstance. 9-2 deficit is not a reason to just bow out. We then went on a scoring rampage. It was like the tables just reversed. You had Ruggiano homering, you had Buck homering, you had Cousins homering. So the Marlins then tied the game in the 8th on a sac fly by Dobbs. Going into extra innings, you know, it's one of those just crazy games. You're like, what's going to happen next? Reyes comes up, hits a solo shot to right field, and you're like, we're back on top. This is our game to win. Bell comes in, walks Gomez. Aoki flies out. Then Gomez steals second. Now we have Braun up. He gets him out. He strikes him out. And that strikeout, after that strikeout, I felt, okay, this game is over. Even though it was just 2 outs and we had Aramis Ramirez coming up, I felt the game was over. Braun is the center part of that team. And when you strike out a guy like that with nasty stuff as a changeup down in the dirt, you're like, he's got his stuff today. The Marlins telecast, the announcers are saying, you know, Marlins trying to complete one of the biggest comebacks in Marlins history. Right when that said, Ramirez has a 2-run shot to center field. And every Marlins fan, I guarantee you, that was watching that game was ready to throw their remote at the TV. It was just the most frustrating end of a game that you can imagine. After all battling back to allow a 2-run walk-off home run to Aramis Ramirez was just really frustrated. It just deflated us completely. Rafi, what were your thoughts on the first 2 games of this series?
I'll get to the second game in a bit. The first game, you know, it was just one of those that you have to hold a lead. If you're a winning team, if you're a winning ball club, and the way that we had been playing the previous 4 games, you have to hold that lead. It didn't happen. On the other side, it's baseball. You move on to the next day. Game 2, we're down 9-2. Yeah, everybody thinks it's a blowout, and like you said, with reason, 9-2 is a blowout. But the key is that it was early. I believe it was 3rd, 4th inning. So there's a lot of baseball to be played. And when you have guys that, you know, Lomo's getting hot, Ruggiano is already hot, you have guys that are starting to click here and there, and to me, it was kind of no surprise, really, that we came back. Bell comes in, and alright, so you went through the play-by-play there. Big strikeout on Braun, which was huge, like you said. You get Braun, you're thinking, alright, this is it. Bell throws, I believe, a 95-mile-an-hour fastball on the first pitch by Ramirez. Do not go back to the well. Do not do it. Sure enough, middle-in fastball. And Aramis does and we talked about it. We talked about it that night. And I said to you, I wonder if Ramirez was just let the first pitch go on purpose, knowing that he was going to throw the second one right there. It's demoralizing to have this guy who we signed to this huge contract come in and not get the job done. Man, this really sucks. I mean, these guys fought back. These guys battled back from 9-2. 1 out away, 2 strikes away, and he can't do it.
So at the end of the day, 8 home runs in this game, 13 different pitchers, over 30 hits in this ball game. It was just an insane game, and there's still 2 more games to go. So game 3, 4th of July, a lot of celebration, day game. Everybody's, you know, just happy. You're having fireworks, American flags everywhere. JJ versus Wolf, great matchup. Marlins again score early, and then the Brewers score again. 5-run second, immediately, you know, carrying over what they had done the day before. 4-run lead right away going into the 3rd inning. They pretty much carried that lead on into the 7th. The 7th, the Marlins had a 4-run 7th. Lomo, a 3-run pinch hit home run. Like you said, Rafi, Lomo is on fire. But then again, you know, the Brewers just keep bouncing back. Aramis comes up later, gets a single off done, gets the lead 6-5, and you're just thinking, you know, we've already lost 2. Is this going to be the 3rd? Axford, the Axeman, comes in, with his funky beard and everything. He gets 2 outs rather quickly, gets Gabby the 1-2 count. You're already thinking, this is it. And, you know, at some point in the ball game, news started leaking out that the Marlins had acquired Carlos Lee. So you're already thinking, okay, well, it's looking like Gabby's out of here. Lee's probably going to take first base because he hasn't been performing this year. And we'll talk about that trade here in a little bit. But Gabby, 1-2 count, 2 outs, the entire stadium standing up, getting ready for another Brewers win. Solo shot to right field. Axford blown save. He's been really good first half, and they were able to tie the game off of him. Hanley then comes up in extra innings, 2-0 count, was able to get a base hit right up the middle, score Solano. Alright, 7-6 lead. Whew, we got a lead. Now let's see if we can close it out. We got Heath Bell coming in again. First batter, Corey Hart. First pitch, Hart almost ties the game. He hits a deep fly to right field. Just caught at the warning track. Are you kidding me? Bell almost blew another save. But he kept it in the ballpark. Ricky Weeks comes up. Double. Like, great. Now we have a runner on second. They can tie the game. But then he really locked in. Struck out Maldonado. And then Green to ground out. End the ball game. Marlins win. Whew. You can relax a little bit. But, you know, it's just one of those wins that you're glad we got it, but it wasn't pretty how we got it. After the ball game, Gabby Sanchez was sent down to AAA to make room for Carlos Lee, who we traded Matt Dominguez for. Game 4, Friars versus Burley. It's one of those matchups that doesn't look as sexy as a J.J. Wolf matchup. But this matchup, both pitchers were just on their game. Carlos Lee comes up, first at bat, strikes out. You can kind of tell he was trying to make something happen to kind of impress his teammates. Wasn't able to make it happen. Second at bat, gets a double down the left field line, gets the second. Lomo comes up. A little blooper to left field, but Carlos Lee, like a good veteran player he is, knew where Braun was playing. So as soon as Lomo hit that one, he knew it was going to fall in. He took off. Was able to score from second. Somebody his size needs to get a big jump in order to score, and he definitely did get a good jump. Both Fryer and Burley were both able to get into the 7th inning. Burley ended up not allowing a run. Fryer only allowed 2 runs. They were pretty much matched up really well. Both of them over 8 strikeouts. It was a really well pitched game. Marlins still had a 2-run lead going into the 9th. Dobbs comes up, 2-run shot. Awesome home run, 80th career pinch hit, giving us the security we needed to close out the game. Marlins win 4-0. Rafi, what did you think of the comparison between game 1 and 2 of 2 tough losses to game 3 and 4 of 2 great wins?
I think just as much as tough losses have been the theme of the first half so far, I think resilience has also been a theme here. It shows what this team is made of at times. At times, you know, these guys are going to fight. And then acquiring a big bat, El Caballo. It's nice to see Carlos Lee as a Miami Marlin now. It's sad to see Gabby go. You know, he's one of those fan favorites who, for some reason, one way or another, just wasn't getting the job done. Let me fast forward to game 4 here. Mark Burley. The reason we got him was because he makes every single start and he goes deep in as many starts as he can. And here he goes, allowing no runs in 7 2 innings and striking out 8. I mean, for me, that's what we need out of all our starters. But Marlins win, and it was good to see them take the split onto St. Louis.
You're absolutely right, Raph. After taking the split on the St. Louis last 3-game series of the first half, Ricky versus Westbrook. And it's another one of those matchups that you were just like, okay, it looks pretty good on paper. Let's see how it turns out. Freeze early on drove in a run, but then we were able to come back after El Caballo hit a ball to Freeze, which he booted, and then the Marlins were able to tie the game at 1 which got us back into the ball game. Ricky was just on his game in this game. 6 innings, 9 hits, 4 strikeouts, 0 earned runs. He did allow a run, but it was unearned. And you're really starting to see Ricky put together those stats. And again, another quality start. Reyes ended up getting a key base hit, an infield hit that gave the Marlins a 2-1 lead. Lomo gave us an insurance home run, giving us a 3-1 lead. And now it's Bell time. Cardinals do scratch out a run in the 9th with 2 outs, still 2 runners on, first and second. A ground ball to Infante, and Infante, shows his gold glove defense. Grabs it deep, almost falling into the shortstop position. Makes a tremendous throw to first. Ball game. The Cardinals ended up stranding 11 runners. So you really saw a step up in this game and put a lot of pressure on the Cardinals. So in game 2, after a few days of having Stanton just sitting on the bench because of knee issues, Stanton starting game 2. Sure enough, first inning, they put him to the test. Furcal hits a deep fly ball to right field, and he hustles and gets it done. He catches the ball. You don't see any discomfort out of him. We just kept scratching out runs. Ruggiano 2-run shot after Stanton got a base hit, which again, he was running really well. Ruggiano, I mean, the Astros are just saying, how can we let this guy go? This guy's on fire. He's batting over 400. And he's just on a home run pace right now. He's just, every game you watch, he's almost hitting a home run. Stanton was then taken out of the ball game, and you were just thinking, now, it's that knee. And because of that, he's going to have surgery. He's going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks. That's a huge loss for the Marlins lineup. Although we did pick up Carlos Lee, it does hurt us a little bit to not have Big Stanton in that lineup. In the 4th, the Cardinals were able to score a couple runs, giving them a 3-2 lead, which they would not inherit, as Solano comes up in the 9th, battled really well, I thought, but wasn't able to drive in another run. Marlins lose 3-2. No, I wasn't really that upset about this ballgame. I said, okay, we can still win game 3. Joe Kelly versus Sanchi. Again, the Marlins score first. We're out there scoring just like we were in every other game. But just like in every other game, the Cardinals came back, tied the game at 1 in the 2nd. Cardinals carry a 2-1 lead into the 7th. And Austin Kearns, the guy's been struggling ever since he came off the DL. 3-run, pinch hit, home run, gives us a 4-2 lead. And again, just like the other games, you just felt so comfortable. You're like, okay, we got a 2-run lead. There's no way Bell can blow this one. Right? So this is how the 9th inning goes down. Beltran strikes out. Craig gets a single. Carpenter a ground rule double. And then he walks Freeze. Bases loaded. 2-run lead. Cruz hits a sac fly. Cardinals are within 1 run. And you're just thinking, we gotta hold this game. Descalso walks to load the bases again. So now you have 2 outs for a call-up. 1-2 count. 1 strike wins the ball game. Base hit loses the ball game. Which thing do you think Bell chooses? Of course, allows a base hit to left field to Furcal. This scores 2 runs. Cardinals walk off with the victory. Bell walks off the field with his head virtually between his knees. Marlins lose the series. And again, it was because of Bell. Rafi, what's going on? This is a 3-game series. We were in every ball game against a really good Cardinals team, but we end the first half losing 2 out of 3 to the Cardinals. I mean, what can you pull out of this?
Look, you mentioned that the starters have gone quality starts throughout the road trip, and then you said, well, the bullpen has been struggling. Well, I'd like to say that Bell has cost us a lot here. And yes, 2 blown saves on the road trip, but I think that means more than that. You hope this team can bounce back in the second half and not have to rely on Bell as much. But as of right now, I almost feel like he's cost us a chance. He's cost us a run here. Bell uses 2 strikes, 2 breaking balls on the outside corner to get the 2 strikes. Change it up, man. The same thing happened with Ramos Ramirez in your last blown save. Change it up. He threw another breaking ball in the outside corner, and of course, Rafael Furcal's a veteran hitter. I mean, he knows what's coming, and I think Ozzie just had enough. You know, he said, I've defended this guy long enough. At the end of the day, you have to get the job done, and I'm gonna find somebody who can get that job done. Guillen just shat on everybody except for Bell. Okay, pretty much just say no. It's not all his fault because this happened. No, wrong. We had the lead in the 9th. You screwed it up. Your fault. And then again on Sunday against the Cardinals, your fault. You have to make the better pitches, and it's been a frustrating road trip. You look at this road trip, 6-1 is not out of the picture, not out of the question.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The Marlins ended up dropping 4 games out of those 7 games. The road trip 3-4. First half of 41 and 44. So a little first half stats here. All of these rankings are by all 30 teams. But guess what? Quality starts were ranked number 1. We have more quality starts than any other team in Major League Baseball. And that's the reason why we're in this position. That's the reason why I think the Marlins could bounce back in the second half with the consistent starting pitching they're getting.
Going with the stat that you mentioned on quality starts, the Marlins and the Reds are the only 2 teams, I believe in baseball, who will have all 5 of their starters make all of the starts. So I think that, like you said, is huge. And it's been the first time in a long time since the Marlins have had that happen. So, like you said, I think because of that statistic, I think we look for better days to come ahead.
As for now, that's all we got. Follow us next week as we talk about the All-Star game and the series against the Nationals. As for all of us from down the right field line, that's it. But make sure to check out our random video of the week, which we like to call
the Major Freakout. Later.